Have you ever considered that the rosary on your wall might be the source of conflicts in your home? This isn't about superstition, but a warning left by Saint Padre Pio, known for his ability to see what many cannot perceive. Recently, a woman shared how her family faced constant arguments, financial struggles, and even unexplained illnesses. After watching one of our videos, she decided to remove an old black rosary she had bought at a thrift store. Within days, the atmosphere in her home changed dramatically. Padre Pio, with his spiritual gifts, warned about rosaries of specific colors that, instead of offering protection, attract negative influences. The most concerning part? These objects are often the most beautiful and eye-catching, sold in stores or online. Today I will reveal which colors he cautioned against, the 6 signs of a compromised rosary, and why the third type is especially dangerous and common in Catholic homes. The rosary is a powerful spiritual weapon, capable of connecting us to Mary and Christ. However, its power also makes it a target for distortion. Padre Pio compared evil to a chained dog. It only harms those who approach it. He could discern contaminated objects, and once rejected a rosary used in occult rituals, disguised as a sacramental. His lesson? The sacred demands discernment. Not everything that appears holy truly is. In the modern era, religious objects are mass-produced and treated as decorations or fashion accessories, stripping them of their true meaning. Some Catholics collect rosaries like jewelry, forgetting their spiritual purpose. Sacramentals are not mere ornaments, they are instruments of faith and grace when consecrated. But which rosaries can be harmful? Padre Pio warned about 3 specific types that, if kept at home, can negatively impact a family's spiritual life. Discover these models and the hidden risks they pose according to the saint's teachings. 1. The Black Rosary. Padre Pio cautioned against entirely black rosaries, not because of the color itself, associated with mourning in Catholic tradition, but due to their use in occult rituals. Many, acquired from non-religious sources, carried histories of practices contrary to the faith. One striking case involved a woman tormented by persistent nightmares, even after prayers and confessions. Upon meeting her, Padre Pio immediately identified the problem: a black rosary purchased at an antique shop, previously used in non-Christian rituals. Its removal brought instant relief. The saint possessed a unique gift of discernment, sensing spiritual residues on objects. He explained that black items linked to dark rituals could retain negative influences, disturbing prayer and inner peace. 2. The Blood-Red Rosary. Though red symbolizes Christ's blood, some rosaries in this hue were tied to distorted blood rituals. Padre Pio distinguished devotional ones from those with suspicious origins, often used in forbidden pacts or invocations. A notable account tells of a family that, after receiving a red rosary as decor, faced domestic strife, insomnia, and unexplained fears. Padre Pio linked these afflictions to the object, which mixed Christian prayers with forbidden invocations. Once removed and the home blessed, harmony was restored. 3. Hybrid rosaries and charms. The most dangerous, according to Padre Pio, were rosaries blending Catholic elements with symbols from other traditions, such as beads shaped like eyes or crucifixes with esoteric imagery. He called these objects spiritual confusion, diluting genuine devotion and opening doors to influences incompatible with the faith. In a world where sacramentals become accessories, his warning remains relevant. Rosaries are tools of grace, not charms. Their origin, intention, and consecration define their true spiritual value. In the age of spiritual syncretism and mass consumption, hybrid rosaries have grown popular, marketed as universal prayer or inclusive spirituality. Padre Pio warned that these seemingly harmless items create confusion about the true nature of Christian prayer, a dialogue with God through specific channels of grace. Mixing elements from different spiritual traditions creates static in divine communication. Physical and online markets sell hybrid prayer beads, often combined with energy-charged crystals, multi-religious symbols, or charms like the evil eye. Despite their inclusive appeal, these mixtures weaken authentic faith. Another modern issue is the trivialization of the rosary as a fashion accessory, emptying it of sacred meaning. How to identify problematic rosaries? Padre Pio suggested these criteria. Doubtful origin. Avoid pieces from obscure sources or unknown spiritual affiliations. Effects on prayer. If they cause distraction or unease, they may carry interference. Hausmartens, strange symbols. Non-Christian inscriptions or designs warrant caution. Suspicious materials. Mystical crystals, bones, or metals linked to occultism. Intuition. Unexplained discomfort may be a divine warning. Spiritual fruitfulness. A true rosary deepens meditation on Christ. Authenticity lies in simplicity and intention. A rosary should lead to prayer, not confusion or vanity. When a rosary, instead of aiding prayer, brings distraction or even spiritual resistance, it may signal misalignment with its sacred purpose. Padre Pio's guidance on these objects was never meant to instill fear or superstition. Rather, it reflected his wisdom in recognizing that spiritual realities, though invisible, influence our inner lives. His advice was clear: sacramentals must be treated with discernment and reverence, never carelessly. The Capuchin saint also reminded us that no object, regardless of origin, surpasses the power of divine grace. Rosaries with questionable histories can often be purified through the Church's blessing. However, in specific cases, Padre Pio advised replacing them, not out of superstition, but as an act of spiritual prudence. How to recognize if a rosary or sacramental is affecting your home negatively. As often, the signs are subtle. Prayer life. Unexplained difficulty concentrating, spiritual fatigue, or even aversion to prayer. Home harmony. Frequent arguments, a heavy atmosphere, or tensions arising suddenly. Sleep. Disturbances. Recurring nightmares, insomnia without medical cause, or persistent exhaustion upon waking, especially if multiple family members experience it. Children and pets. Their heightened sensitivity may manifest as unexplained fear or avoidance of certain areas. Padre Pio noted that these effects rarely appear abruptly. They seep in gradually, like a fog obscuring a home's peace. Thus, attentive observation and discernment are essential. True spirituality isn't rooted in fear, but in the wisdom to recognize and correct what distances us from God's grace. A real-life example, Martha's story. Martha, a devout woman in contact with Padre Pio, experienced a turning point in her understanding of devotional objects. For nearly 2 years, her once united family faced constant conflict, emotional distance, sudden financial troubles, and irritability. What began as minor disagreements escalated into exhausting daily strife. After writing to Padre Pio, she received a surprising question. Had she recently acquired any religious items of unknown origin? Martha recalled a set of beautiful, unusually designed rosaries bought at an antique auction, which she had placed around the house to encourage prayer. Following the saint's instructions, she removed them and replaced them with newly blessed rosaries from a trusted source. The result was profound. Within weeks, the home's atmosphere lightened, family bonds began healing, and even their finances improved. Padre Pio explained that spiritually misaligned objects don't create problems out of nothing, but amplify existing vulnerabilities in people and environments, like a lens intensifying life's natural struggles into prolonged crises. This is why their effects are hard to pinpoint. The conflicts they generate often resemble everyday stress, rather than external spiritual influence. Recognizing these signs is key to acting with discernment. What to do if you suspect a rosary is causing harm? Padre Pio's balanced approach combined practical action and trust in God. 1. Inventory. Carefully assess all religious items in your home, noting their origins and features. 2. Examine the Rosary. Origin. Was it purchased from a trustworthy source? Maker. Was it crafted by faith-driven hands or linked to dubious practices? Unusual elements. Strange colors, non-Christian symbols, or atypical materials. Tasa, consult a priest. If in doubt, seek guidance from a clergy experienced in spiritual discernment. Padre Pio particularly warned against rosaries deviating from tradition, like those mixing black and red beads or featuring esoteric details. If suspicious items are found, he recommended specific steps to address them, always with faith and common sense. This approach isn't born of fear, but the wisdom that spiritual life requires care. Sacramentals exist to draw us closer to God, not become sources of disturbance. Handling compromised rosaries. Padre Pio taught that even compromised religious objects shouldn't be discarded carelessly. For doubtful but not overtly harmful rosaries, have them re-blessed by a priest. Most know the purification rite for sacred objects and can perform it after Mass or by appointment. This restores their sacred purpose, severing prior negative ties. For unsettling or clearly inappropriate rosaries, e.g. unusual colors, symbols, consult a priest. If disposal is advised, return them to nature reverently, by burning or burying, preceded by prayers. Prevention, choosing and using rosaries wisely. Padre Pio emphasized 3 principles. 1. Trusted origin. Buy only from Catholic stores, monasteries, or recognized religious artisans. 2. Suanas, proper blessing. Never use a new rosary without a priest's blessing. 3. Right intention. Treat it as a prayer tool, not decor or a charm. He especially recommended traditional rosaries made of simple materials, wood, glass, basic metals, ideally crafted by prayerful communities. These carry a special grace. For those facing spiritual disturbances tied to religious objects, he suggested home blessing. Ask a priest to bless each room, invoking divine protection. Sacred space. Designate a prayer area with a crucifix, holy water, and a blessed rosary. Family prayer. Praying the rosary together strengthens unity and shields against negative influences. He also advised a spiritual shield for the home, placing blessed sacramentals, a crucifix, holy water, a simple rosary, near doors and bedrooms. These foster peace when used with faith. The power lies in faith, not the object. Padre Pio's core teaching was clear. True protection comes from God, not objects themselves. A humble, blessed rosary prayed with devotion holds far more spiritual power than the most ornate one treated as a mere charm. His warnings about colors and materials weren't superstition, but a call to examine the intent behind such objects. Discernment is vital. Just as we scrutinize food, we must mind what enters our spiritual environment. Padre Pio encapsulated his wisdom in the phrase, "Pray, trust, and don't worry." Yet he also taught that real faith requires prudent action. Verifying the origin of religious items, having them blessed, and using them reverently are acts of spiritual responsibility. The Rosary, when used rightly, is a mighty prayer, weapon. But like all sacred tools, it must be handled with discernance and devotion. May Padre Pio's lessons inspire us to cultivate an attentive faith, safeguarding our homes and hearts with wisdom and divine grace. If this message resonates, share it with those in need. As the saint said, the Rosary is the soul's shield, but it only works in the hands of those who pray from the heart. May Padre Pio's blessing guide your spiritual journey, bringing clarity, protection, and peace to your home. Thank you for watching this video. Leave your like and subscribe to the Living Hope channel on YouTube. Activate notifications by clicking on the bell to receive other publications.